And welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 468. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the man on the ones and twos, it's Mr. Paul Despawn.
Hello, how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing?
All right, it feels like I know I've spoken to you, but it feels like in podcast form we haven't spoken forever, which it feels weird.
Yeah, we had that big thing of like, obviously not E3 week where we talk to each other every day, basically. And then we kind of say like, all right, we'll take a little bit of a break and then come back and have a proper conversation about everything. And then it's been about 2 weeks almost, it feels.
It feels like it, but it actually hasn't.
It hasn't.
We haven't missed a week. We haven't missed a week. There wasn't really much of a break. And of course, Mr. Two Fresh Crash, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. You know,
no, I'm in total agreement with you. It feels very much like we haven't spoken for 2 weeks, yet we have.
You know what it is? It's also like not E3 week. Didn't feel like a podcast. Like it wasn't a podcast.
No. It
was, but it didn't. So it didn't add to that feeling of like the weekly ritual of like, okay, let's all get together and
it wasn't the rigmarole. It wasn't the whole we're gonna do it. Yeah, it was very different, very different. But yeah, if you don't know, this is My Xbox and Me, our weekly Xbox podcast right here on MXAM. You can find us over on YouTube.com/My Xbox and Me and all podcast services. If you want to support the show financially, Patreon.com/MC Fixer helps with that. It helps us keep going, helps us keep making more content. If you don't have any money, no problem. How about you go check us out over on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and if you watch on Apple podcast, go drop us a review. We would very much appreciate that. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Aaron Guard and the one and only Mr. Sam. Sam, I think you're through the rest of the month, mate. I'm not sure if it was last month, I'm not sure it was this month. We'll just keep going till the end of the month. All right, we're good. Thank you very much. Before we get into the topic of the show, how are we feeling after E3? Nah, boys, it feels very, or not E3, I should say. It feels very, I don't know. Nintendo was hype for me, so we haven't spoken about that. Probably more of a more MXAM show than this, but it's officially over with. How are you feeling now?
Good. Excited for what's coming up. Like, there was some really good announcements. Again, you mentioned the Nintendo stuff. Like, I wasn't thinking much going into that one. Like, I was watching it midway through work, and like some genuinely shocking announcements I did not expect. Very excited for Bus Switch to get some more games before it finally goes out to pasture.
New Mario Party!
New Mario Party! Time to end some relationships!
I noticed. Something else is irrelevant.
No. New Super Mario Bros. Look good. New Mario Party look good. Even that Zelda game, and I'm not a Zelda person at all, looked pretty good. And then obviously Metroid, which I'm not a big Metroid guy. Like, I've never played a Metroid before, but I was happy for the people that have been waiting for that. So.
Also really dope for the Switch owners that all these stuff aren't moving over to Switch 2 as well.
I totally agree. It felt very, I don't know, it's one of those, we got a question coming up later in the show about Xbox and how people's opinions change very quickly on Xbox, right? I feel like I do Nintendo a disservice because they are a really good company to people who buy their consoles. Like, you've got to give, whether or not it's the best hardware out there, the best graphics, things like that, that's whatever. I did not expect to see as much first-party stuff as we saw at Nintendo Showcase. It was very surprising, considering we know there is a successor to the Switch in the works that's going to be shown at the end of the year.
They've been a little quiet first party wise, so everybody's like, oh, they're waiting for the Switch 2. They're waiting for the Switch 2. And then to come out and do this and showcase, even if you don't like, I saw some people saying they didn't really like any of the games shown for the most part. Like, that's cool, but they showed a lot of stuff for a lot of people who do care. Right?
100%. All right, let's jump into the topic of the show. Let's talk some Xbox, shall we? First up, Microsoft says Xbox is going to go big at Gamescom 2024, while Sony and Nintendo will once again skip the show. This one was taken from IGN, if I'm not mistaken, but Microsoft has announced plans to return to Gamescom this year, which it says will have its biggest booth ever at Germany's game show. Obviously, Gamescom's going to be going from August 21st to August 25th, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that far away, boys, if we're being honest with you. I always forget how close Gamescom is compared to E3. It's very obviously it's the European E3, so it makes perfect sense. But yeah, it's we've got another Jeff Keighley showcase to come from that. We suspect we're going to see some more from Xbox in terms of a showcase from that. But no Sony, no Nintendo. Very, very interesting. There's a list of games they're going to have on the show floor to be shown. Age of Mythology, Retold is going to be there. Avowed is going to be there. Aura History Untold is going to be there. Diablo 4 Vessels of Hatred is going to be there. Diablo Immortal is going to be there. Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, Towerborn, and World of Warcraft, The War Within, all going to be on the show floor. Those are some really, really big hitters, if we're being totally honest, because again, these big shows have the if you've ever been to a convention, you know, like sometimes they'll turn up and the booth space are kind of boring. With the games they have go into this showcase, I expect the booth to look really, really good. So people that are heading to Gamescom are gonna have a really good time, I suspect. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I was denied creator access this year. Don't ask me why. I've fallen off. I've officially fallen off. I've been feeling it for a while, but I've officially fallen off. Don't worry, I'll make a comeback. Can't hold me down for too long, but
ain't no stopping you.
I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say about Avowed once they've got their hands on that. Obviously, press have been able to get their hands on it at not E3, but I'm interested to see what like the everyday person thinks of Avowed and seeing how the Twitter space are going to react to that. But good on Xbox. I'm happy to hear they're going to be at Gamescom, even when their competitors are not. They're in last place. They have to be doing these sorts of things. Let's be totally honest. And it's obviously a great show to be at with the games they've got going there. Very interesting selection of games as well. I feel like, you know, Fallout 76, I guess, will be the new map. I would imagine they're going to be showing that off.
I imagine the new map for that and the new expansion. Avowed, I'm excited to look at as well. Interestingly, not a lot of talk of Activision stuff here.
I mean, what would they have had? Only Call of Duty, right? And that wouldn't have been announced they wouldn't have had their event by then. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They're not showing that until their event.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I mean, who knows what else Activision are working on, like behind the scenes. But
true.
But still, this is exciting stuff. Like as an Xbox fan, there's a lot of really big titles here, and like we've said, it's not even a portion of what they announced at the Xbox showcase that's coming this year. So I'm excited, especially if you're there. Like I'm not going to be there, which is heartbreaking, but you know,
I do have a question with the show, the run of show they have here. No mention of Indiana Jones.
No,
Did that say anything to you that it's not mentioned there? Or is that like it doesn't need to be here, so they're not gonna show it off?
I would have liked it to have been here. I think it would have been a good place, but I guess it's not ready, right? It's one of those ones where certain games show better on show floors. Let's be honest. Like picking up a Diablo expansion on a show floor, you know what you're getting, and if you haven't played Diablo before, Diablo 4 specifically, it's a great place to go, oh, you should play this. And, oh, it's in Game Pass, by the way. And then they sell you on the DLC afterwards, right? Same thing for Fallout 76, same thing for Elder Scrolls Online. I feel like the games they have here, other than probably Avowed, are all games that, if you stick within a specific niche as well, will show very well on the show floor. The reason I say Avowed, I'm not saying Avowed won't show well on the show floor, but I always have this thing about long demos. About people taking up too much time on a demo at a show floor. Like, I wonder what the vertical slice is they're letting people play of Avowed at Gamescom.
Yeah.
It can either go one of two ways, right? Because you need it to be a highly engaged area, but you also don't want to give away too much, but you also don't want it to be too long because you're going to have a queue of people waiting to play this goddamn game. So yeah, it's a really good balance, a fine balance where the rest of these games I look at and go, oh yeah, someone's going to go on there, they're going to play it for 10 minutes, then they're going to jump off. But like, how long are you actually going to get with Avowed? But no, to answer your question specifically, Crash, I do apologize for the tangent. I'm not worried about it. Would I have liked to have seen it here? Yes, but I'm not worried about it. I guess it's one of those titles where behind closed doors, there's probably going to be demos happening, but they just don't want to give it to the everyday public to try it out just yet. So, yeah. You worried about this one?
No. Again, like for all like jokes aside about how Bethesda are a buggy mess, like Machine Games are good at what they do. Like they are great at what they do. So yeah, I'm not worried about them releasing a bad game. Like if they do, it'd be a shock to me more than anything else. So yeah, no, I'm not too worried about it. I think with it being a highly like curated single player game, I think they want to show as little off as possible so they're not spoiling anything. So yeah, makes total sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. Boys, let's jump into what's been in our box. We're bringing it back. We haven't spoken about what we've been playing on the podcast for a little while. So let's do just that. Crash.
Yeah.
We'll start with you. What have you been playing, man?
I played Destiny.
Oh, okay,
I beat the expansion.
You beat a game this year. Very proud of you.
Okay, so first of all, let's not do that. Let's not do that. First of all, we're gonna take that first up.
What's the problem?
I beat Hellblade earlier in the year.
Okay.
I
You beat a movie. Well done.
A game called Wuthering Waves came out. I beat all the story stuff for that game.
Okay.
I beat the Destiny expansion.
Okay.
As much as you can beat a game like that, right?
Yeah. No, I understand.
Tekken came out earlier. I'd argue I beat Tekken. No.
Did you finish the story for?
No, I don't know. Is there a story mode for that?
Yeah.
Does that
really matter? Does that really matter? Does it?
Story mode? I tell you what, if that counts as it, I'm never beating Tekken.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave that to the audience. I don't think I'm qualified enough to answer that question. Yeah.
I think
you know the answer to it. You just don't want to say the answer to it. It's cool. We can move on.
He's got a single player portion and multiplayer. Have you done both? I'd say my classes has beaten it.
I've done the training mode, so yes, I've done single player. Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Destiny, talk to me. Any good?
Yeah, it's really good. I played a little bit with Despawn. Have you touched it again, Despawn?
A little bit, but again, because we were doing that legendary, I hit that wall. I'm doing solo, so I was like, I'll come back.
You can switch it to off of legendary whenever you like. You don't have to. You also could message me at any point, like, hey, you want to play run through some Destiny?
Yeah, other things came up, so yeah. I would like to go back to it. I would 100% do want to go back.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I was just curious. Yeah, it's really good. It is a really good way to end off the Destiny store or the saga that they had. They've done a whole bunch. I haven't done the raid yet. They've done a lot of other content they've been rreleasing weekly and stuff like that I haven't had the chance to touch because of just a lot of other stuff to play on top of just being a little bit too busy right now, unfortunately. But from what I've played, it's absolutely fantastic. I love the new Prism subclass that they released that lets you combine the abilities from different classes. I think that's incredibly fun, and sort of some of the build crafting with that is really cool. The fact that now you can jump into different characters and they're dropping the highest overall power level for your highest character, so you're constantly progressing as you switch characters. I think that's really fun. It seems like they figured out some of the stuff which they tend to do at like Bungie's notorious for this, at least as far as Destiny is concerned. They get really bad rep. People are like, this game's dead, it's horrible, Then they release an expansion or something that's like, everybody's like, this is the best thing since water, and there's nothing better than Destiny right now. Which is the case, and it's really good right now if you're a long-term Destiny fan. I think Final Shape is a good time to jump back in. If just for the expansion. I'm not saying to Destiny as a whole, because I think that remains to be seen how Bungie does going forward past this expansion.
Yeah, interesting.
I had fun with it, like you say. Watching other people, because I spend more time watching people play it on Twitch and stuff like that than I do actually playing at the moment. But seeing people do the raid looks really interesting, like one of the best ones I've seen so far. And yeah, I've been enjoying all these new kind of like post-story things that they talked about. I can't remember what they called them, but yeah, it looks like they're going into some interesting like the future of Destiny kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm like, I want to go back to it. I 100% enjoyed the story I've played so far. And yeah, but yeah, having the time. Too many games. Stop releasing games for like a week for me, please.
Please don't. I feel like there's nothing to out right now for me. So yeah, I'm where
you got a DLC to your favorite game this year.
We'll get to that. Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about before I move on to Despawn?
There's some. Well, I played Shadow of the Erdtree, but I feel like we'll come back to that.
We'll get back to that. Yeah. Decent. What we've been playing? What's been going on? We've seen a lot of reviews go up, so you've been playing a lot of games. So talk to me.
I have, yeah. So I finished Still Wakes the Deep. Played that in one sitting. Solid. Go on.
Still Wakes the Deep. What game is that?
This is the horror walking sim from the Chinese room based on an oil rig.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's in Game Pass, so you can go check it out now. I enjoyed my time with it. It's short, and the horror.
You said 4 hours, right?
Yeah, I finished it in 4 hours.
Is it a bad short or just like noticeably short?
No, it's just like, I think my problem with it is by the time it was up and I realized how short it was, I was like, man, it's my similar issue that I had with Hellblade 2 is like, I enjoyed being in that world, and it's a shame that there was no reason to stay in it. Like, once I'd finished the game, there's no reason to go back and do it again, unless I wanted to 100% some of the achievements. But yeah, no. And then, a lot of signposting in the game. Like, do you all remember the arguments that happened online about the yellow paint in Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking hate this game if you didn't like that.
I won't, because I love signposting.
Yeah.
So,
but it is impossible to get lost in this game. Every pipe is yellow, and it tells you which way to go exactly. So yeah. Interesting. But it is what it is. Like, for a walking sim, there's not really much excuse to go off of the beaten path. It's very much like, this is the direction you are going in, and don't try and go anywhere else. But regardless of that, the world that they've built is gorgeous. The story that they're telling is really cool. If you are like me and like are a fan of like the 80s horror movies, like John Carpenter's The Thing and things like that, you're going to love this game. But yeah, no, definitely check it out. It's on Game Pass. You'll find out within the first hour or so if it's a game for you. Like, there's not really much in the way of mechanics within the game that changes throughout, but the way that they build it and the tension that they use in the game kind of like is what keeps you going. But yeah, other than that, obviously,
just out of interest, what did you review it? What score did it get?
I gave it a 7 because I thought it was good. Like I say, the world building and the storytelling and all of that stuff was great, but the gameplay mechanics, it was very linear, very short, and yeah, just again, not really an excuse to go back to it.
I literally just downloaded it for me and Haley to play, probably tonight actually. I wasn't we ended up doing housework this morning, so I didn't was gonna try and play it this morning. But I was like, do you know what? Don't want to rush it, don't wanna do half of the game if it's that short. So downloaded it, probably gonna start it tonight, which would be good. So yeah, I'll be able to report back next week what I think. Did you ever play Layers of Fear?
I played some of it.
Is it like that?
No, it's like where that's like a more kind of like psychological horror. This is more. Again, I don't want to say anything without for spoilers.
Yeah. No, exactly.
It's a different type of horror. Let's just say.
Okay. Okay. I'm interested. All right. Cool.
I think you like it, knowing like what you and like with you and Haley and like the games you play together and like like the walking sims and that kind of stuff. I think you guys will have a lot of fun with it.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah. Could have been improvements, but that's about it. Yeah. And then other than that, unless you got any questions on...
No, please.
I blasted through the Alan Wake DLC. I played all 3 episodes in one go.
I'm hearing good things.
It might be one of the best DLCs I've played for story.
Big.
For story, specifically. Gameplay-wise, it is more Alan Wake, which again... not a bad thing. But yeah, no, it is very much more Alan Wake, very much more Remedy, but specifically the 3rd chapter that they've got in there. So it's 3 chapters altogether in this DLC. And the 3rd one specifically is one of the most meta things that I think Remedy have ever done in regards to how they tell their stories. Again, I don't want to say too much for those that haven't played it, but if you are an Alan Wake fan, if you're a Remedy fan, definitely play this DLC. It is.
I do have one question. Do the chapters all tie in together?
No, they are separate. Again, it's not really a spoiler. It doesn't really explain it well, but it is kind of alluded to. But basically, all 3 chapters are episodes of the Night Springs TV show. in universe, Alan Wake wrote as a means to try and escape the dark place.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So it's all those stories coming to life, basically, within their kind of self-contained world. But yeah, no, it is very interesting, but they are very separate. So again, it's all in the... I won't say anything that's a spoiler going forward, I promise, but the first one is to do with Rose, the diner waitress. So all about her like obsession with Alan and where that came from.
That's cool because that's cool because the main game that very much hints at it a lot, but you don't really get a full explanation. So that's cool to find out.
She's just obsessed for no reason. Yeah. Like this one kind of goes into that. The second one, it actually brings in Jesse Fadden from Control.
Oh yeah.
So, which again, spoiler, I've been playing Control this morning.
Interesting.
I've had the bug. I got bitten. So it brings in Jesse, but it kind of puts a weird like twist on like her story within Night Springs, and then the final one is to deal with Tim Breaker, the police sheriff that went missing right at the beginning of the game, and then kind of pops up in the dark place.
Yeah.
So it kind of talks about him and like how he kind of like is part of that world. And kind of goes a lot more into detail with him. But yeah, no, it's very interesting.
Okay. Very interesting. Yeah, that's on my list as well to play. Yeah. Once again, it's weird. Two things that I want to play have come out, but they're both things that I have to play with Haley. Otherwise, I'm going to get beaten up. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to wait. Yeah, going to have to wait.
I will say you could get through all 3 chapters in about 2 hours. So,
okay. Sure.
Yeah, but again, it's weird. I know I complained about like Still Wakes the Deep being too short for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's because they're two different types of games. Where if like Alan Wake, I'm very much there for the story. And I think they told a fantastic story. I think Still Wakes the Deep did as well, but the gameplay mechanics, like walking around in that world, it's a gorgeous world. But yeah, like it's two different sides of the coin, I think, for me.
Yeah, well, 2 different games, 2 different very different experiences as well. Makes sense. Anything else?
The same thing that everyone else has been playing. So we'll talk about that as a wider
it's the only thing. Yeah, it's the only thing I've really been playing, to be honest with you. So if you don't remember, it was like 2 weeks ago now, when Matt was on the show. Yeah, it was before. Yeah, 2 weeks ago when Matt was on, Matt and Crash decided to start chirping up. They started to start running their map. I don't know why they think they can test me and disrespect my credentials. I've been in this game for 10 years, yeah? You guys are Drake, I'm Kendrick, yeah? You're not getting this.
No, that's 100% not an accurate.
I mean, get the reaction, guys. I knew that would get the reaction from Crash.
It's not accurate at all.
Anyway, I've been playing Elden Ring. Obviously, top 5 game of that year. We all know that. Number 5 on my list after 5 hours. So for those who don't know, because we haven't spoken about it at all. So started playing Elden Ring, was enjoying it, was enjoying the experience, got to a certain point, got to a boss I couldn't beat, cheesed my way through a wall, which destroyed my entire gameplay on Xbox, which would have meant I'd have to start again. Ended up starting it again, but bought it on PC. And obviously ran through a lot of the bosses because I already knew what I was doing. Elden Ring's a fantastic game. We already knew that. It is such a remarkable game. Obviously, the meme of me giving it number 5 on my list was a joke. Now it would be much higher on my list if we're being totally honest with the amount of time that I put into it. So yeah, I'm currently at the end of the game. I am at the final boss. I am struggling very, very, very hard on the final boss. But yeah, we've had a great time. I've been streaming it. Me and my stream have been having a good time. Been playing it very much with playing with an interactive map up. So knowing locations of where to go get seeds and like different materials to level up weapons and things like that. That is just how I prefer to play this game. I can see where the magic of this now, when you guys are talking about when the game came out, right? And you guys were like, did you go over here and there was this, and then did you go over there and there was that? I can see where the magic of those conversations were being had. Now that I've played the game, I still wouldn't enjoy the game like that. Yeah,
which is completely valid.
Oh no, there's been if you've seen the conversation online lately, it's very much like, if you play the game with an interactive map, you're a loser. If you play with summons, you're a loser. And I'm like, jeez, we've had to ban a few people from my chat, just people who come in just like being so weird about it. It's so strange.
Yeah.
They do, like, the equivalent is like me saying, like, if you play the game and you abuse the invincibility from rolling, you're a piece of shit and you suck at the game.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally the same sort of like conversation point. You're just changing what you dislike about it.
Yeah.
It's just a weird.
So so we had the conversation between Matt and Chris saying I would never beat the game, right? That conversation happened. I took it personally. It was a Michael Jordan moment, right? It was definitely, if you've seen The Last Dance, it was a Michael Jordan moment. Maybe not so much you, Chris, but definitely Matt. Matt was definitely acting like I wouldn't beat the game.
Yeah. I just want to clarify. I like agreed with Matt that you wouldn't beat it. I never said that you couldn't. I know that you got close to the end of Sekiro.
That's true.
Frustrated.
By the way, wait. I got to know. Yeah, you know why? So the reason I didn't beat Sekiro was because that game has 2 endings, if you remember rightly. And my chat didn't tell me that to do the short ending. So I beat the boss thinking it was the end, and everyone was like, "Yeah, you chose the wrong ending." That's why I never beat Sekiro, and I was pissed. But Elden Ring, whole different story. Elden Ring, oh my god. Shits all over Sekiro. Sorry for people who like Sekiro. Like, that's a great game, and like I now have a new love for these games that I didn't have before. But I will say they need to add a traditional co-op mode in these games. I don't care what anybody says. So to give context, I got to the last 3 bosses I've been sped run through. Just because I got to a point in the game where I haven't been having as much fun. I was getting very frustrated. It very much felt like I need to go out there and do a lot more in this world, in terms of leveling up or figuring out new ashes or just a bunch of different stuff. If you don't know about Elden Ring, you're not going to understand anything that I'm saying, and it all goes over your head and you don't care. So I'm not going to go into the details of it. So Jetty's been playing with me co-op.
Yeah.
So I ended up building up all my I think they're fingers, what they called. I don't know what the compass things. The compass things you use to actually get people in to your game. So Jay helped me with the fire giant. That's the first boss I got stuck on. What an awful boss. Hate him. Like, we started, and I was just saying, to chat, I was like, I am not doing enough damage. I can clearly tell I'm not doing enough damage.
Yeah, that's probably a point where it's like the game's telling you like you should go out. Are you still using the katana?
Yep, using the katana.
The katana ends up falling off hard.
There's a build out there that you can do it, but I'm not using that build currently, and that was the problem. I'm just not doing enough damage. So I was like, look, I'm not having fun. I'm getting close to quit. Jay was like, let me just jump in. I'll help you. Let's just say, by the way, we still died a good 20 times before we beat this boss, and Jetty died and I killed the boss. So as much as that is what happened with this fight, because I've got 2 stories, yes, that is what happened.
The fire giant.
Yes, he died just at the end. It literally no health left, but he died and then I hit it and I was like, yeah, I did it myself. Memeing, obviously. So, but I just want to put that out there for people. Jetty died, so I had to still kill it. Yeah. Whether or not he did 99% of the damage, doesn't matter if you die at the end. That Elden Ring proves that. Doesn't matter how much you do if you don't kill it.
Yeah.
So I did that.
It's true.
Yeah. I will also.
I did that.
Like, again, I know because people will use this argument against you, like, oh, you didn't really finish the game. It's like, co-op is a legit. Yeah, I'm gonna say co-op is a legitimate function within the game that you can use. So,
I've not modded it or anything like that. Funny, I had Ant come in my chat, and Ant's always giving me grief because Ant was like, "You're looking at a map. Why don't you just use the mod to put everything on the map?" And I'm like, "That's not the same experience, though." And he was like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, "No, it's not, Ant, because I'm specifically purposely sorting after, this or this or this or this. It's not putting everything on my map for me to go, oh, let me just run around and collect everything on the map. It's 2 different experiences." So yeah, but anyway, got to the fire giant, beat that. Jay helped me, boom. Get to the next boss. I try it a few times and I'm like, I'm not doing enough damage. Like, it's very clear I'm not doing enough damage here. Jetty jumps in. Once again, same thing happens. He gets most of the damage done for me. And Jetty's not cheesing it or anything like that, by the way.
It's just OP.
And then he dies again. And then I heal like one. Don't get me wrong, I'm doing damage as we're doing this. I'm just not taking the brunt of the damage, let's be honest. So we get through that, then we get to the last boss, and I'm like, I've got 15 summons left. I'm like, we'll get this done in 15, right? Jay's like, yeah, of course we will. Bro, that final boss sucks. I'm at the very last boss, the first phase, and I am having to use I'm having to use every single one of my health potions to get me through to the second phase. And as soon as you get to the second phase, the giant thing just rolls on me, kills me, it pisses me off. So that's where we left off, and I'm looking for a hard carry probably tomorrow, let's be honest, where I just want it done.
Good news for you. I posted it in one of the Discords.
I did see, yeah.
So you can now ride your horse on that second phase.
Thank God.
Yeah, you can just ride around and just chase after
That,
him.
like,
Because that's one of my main issues with seeing that fight. It seems like he runs away and then does a load of massive AoE attacks. And it's like you spend half your time chasing him.
That fight's made for the horse, to be honest, for turret. Like, it's made for you to ride that. The fact that you couldn't from the beginning is just wild.
Yeah. No,
Come on, just like a 2-year bug that they forgot to put it in there at the end.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, guys.
Yeah. My bad. But yeah, ultimately, I just want to say, Elden Ring, fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to eventually playing the DLC. I have no interest in playing the DLC soon. Right now. I have no interest.
Like, I need like the full guides. I don't want to be discovering stuff.
100%. Yes. 100%. No, I'm just so. Don't get me wrong. The conversation around Elden Ring right now and the buzz around it is amazing. Obviously, Kai and all the big streamers are currently playing it. But yeah, I'm Elden Ring that. I just want to beat this final boss and prove Matt wrong and prove you wrong and be able to walk around with my head held high, honestly. And then eventually, probably towards the end of the year, I will play it and experience it and figure all that out. Yeah, ain't it like level? I think it's like 150 recommended to start the DLC. And I'm like
110.
Oh, okay, interesting.
You're 80 at the end of the game.
I think something like that.
So under level.
Yeah. But that's what I mean.
Okay, you're like, okay.
I'm not. I am obviously, but I don't know. It's just it's weird because again, I'm taking a lot of opinions from chat, and I love Jay. Don't get me wrong, love Jay, but Jay pisses me off because I'm not doing enough damage. He's like, you'll never do enough damage. I'm like, bro, it's very clear that I am not doing enough damage right now. Like,
You are like 40, like you said.
I'm
like
tickling
40 levels. Yeah,
I'm tickling. I'm tickling
like
bosses.
120ish for where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Nowhere near that. Nowhere near that.
This is the thing. Because you've been very hell-bent on finishing the game and beating the bosses, there's been a lot of just running past everything when you get the chance.
Oh, I sprint past everything. Now, like, there's certain enemies I'm like, I should probably kill you. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Horse, jump over.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is, it's like, because there's half the time you'll stop and you'll fight something and you'll just get unlucky and lose all your runes. And it's like,
exactly.
Break your heart.
Or that boss that I had. You were watching when I had that boss that I ran into I forgot to use my runes on the fire giant. And so I'm making my way through and like it's not clear that he's a boss straight away. He's talking to you a lot. So I walk in, I'm like, maybe he just wants to chat. They never just want to chat in Elden Ring, let's be honest. So I walk in, but I've got like 100. I must have had like 100,000 plus ruins, something like that. And I just kept, so I ran and died. So my objective was run in, grab my ruins, come back, then get ready for the fight. And it's like, by the time that even happens, I was just like, Joe, what, Jay, come in and fight him. I can't be bothered. And even still, Jay died again. Yeah.
So again, for clarification, because again, I'm in chat all the time. It is.
This one's been watching.
Godwin?
That's him, yeah.
The guy for the roundhouse.
Godfrey,
yeah.
Godfrey, that was him. Yeah, dickhead.
Yeah. So,
I was just gonna say, but overall, Elden Ring, fantastic game. Really enjoying it. Playing it the way I like to play it, and I think that's very, very important. I'm not playing it the way I'm sure 99% of people would enjoy playing it. I'm playing it the way I like playing it, and if you don't like that, you know where to go.
Way less than 90% of people. A lot of people play it the way you do, with a guide open right next to them. Just here's the things I have to do for the way I want to play, and I'm just going to go through it. I like the narrative around it is just very. It's a very loud minority with the people who like have a problem with the way you play it. For the reviewers who reviewed the game, what's it called? FromSoftware gave them a guide for the game for the DLC.
Yeah,
that happens. Oh, then just peek behind the curtain. That happens quite a lot with reviews.
I understand, but I'm saying like you can't. If they're doing that for people reviewing the game, you can't then make the argument that like that's not a way you should play whatever, you know.
There's just a weird. To be honest with you, and we're going off track, but anyway, we have the conversation. We have it a lot. Like we have it with you. Like obviously, I stream for Ubisoft. Everyone knows that, right? We have a lot of people come in just like, why are they letting this guy play the game? He sucks. It's like, when did just playing games and having fun was not enough? Like, it feels like if you're not MLG pro, like whatever, at every single game, you shouldn't be allowed to play games by a very vocal but small audience all of a sudden. I just don't get that.
Yeah. Like games, like at the end of the day, they're supposed to entertain and be fun. It's not supposed to be, it's not just be all and end all of a leaderboard. And like, you know, have fun. Well, and it's like, if someone is having fun with a game, they're playing it right at the end of the day.
Also, people think they're better than they are in almost everything.
Oh, that's facts.
Well, that's
facts.
How many people are like in quote unquote elo hell if they play like a ranked game hardcore? It's like, I'm way better than the silver that I'm in. My teammates just suck, so I'm stuck in silver. It's like, yeah, sure, buddy, whatever.
For sure. Yeah, very strange, very strange. But Despawn also decided to start Elden Ring.
No idea why. No idea
Did you get offended when we were talking to Fix?
For me, he got offended.
I got offended for Fix. Yeah, I was like, you can't treat my Fix like that.
Like, I'm gonna show you the Fix can do it because I'm gonna beat it. If I beat it, Fix can beat it.
I think so. I did think there was a point where we were gonna play it together, right? There was an idea that we were gonna play it together. Obviously, our schedules are so deeply different for when we play games that just weren't going to happen. But how are you finding it? Because you got stuck. He was having a bit of a meltdown in the My Xbox and Me Discord.
Are we long enough into the podcast where I can drop a swear word yet?
Yeah, you can swear. You're fine.
Fuck this game. God damn. No, right. So it's not as bad as the first time I tried to play it. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I just don't think I'm built for these games. That doesn't make them bad games. They're just bad games for me. I have got relatively far, I think, for what I'm doing in the game. And 90% of the time I'm having fun. But 10% of the time, it is the most painful freaking thing I've ever done in my life in a video game.
You're at one of four. I was gonna say one of four of the most annoying bosses. There's 4 annoying bosses. Who
would you say they are?
2 of them you wouldn't have fought because they're side bosses completely.
I did beat some of the flood bosses though.
I know
you didn't beat Michaela.
Yeah, Michaela's not in there.
You didn't beat Michaela. You didn't beat Mog. Those are 2 of the side bosses that I would say are like really annoying. You didn't beat either of them.
I didn't beat Mog.
No.
What did beat Mog?
No.
In the blood place. Uses blood spells.
You haven't. Like, I've been watching. You've not done.
Shut up, Despawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't disrespect me. Don't make me go through and beat all the side bosses.
Hey, I said you've not beaten me yet. You still got time. You know. I think. Well,
if Fix ever wants to do the DLC, he has to beat Mog at some point.
Is because Mog is basically the precursor to get into it, right?
Oh no, I don't know who this guy is. Yeah.
But yeah, I am currently. So there's those 2, and Radahn, I'm guessing, is one of them.
Radahn's annoying. Mind you, they nerfed him. He used to be more difficult when the game first came out.
Yeah. For me, it's not like he's not hard. It's just infuriating at the moment, and I think I'd hit a wall. And also, you know the box that you cheesed on Xbox Fix?
Yeah.
And then you restarted on PC, and then at some point that boss wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me. Like,
weird.
I don't know what it is about in the story, in the quests, that triggers it, but yeah.
You can't be honest. I don't understand the quests in this game, period.
You trigger the tournament to happen. So you skip that fight because they're normally like guards or whatever.
They suck. They're 2 of the worst bosses on the game. They suck.
Yeah.
Anytime there's 2, my big thing in this game is anytime you have to fight 2 things at once, I want to smash my screen. Like the game is already hard for me.
Yeah.
So the fact that you make me fight two things, and then the boss that I got to which is only fair, you kill one of them, and then they just come back. You're like, are you taking the piss? Like, what the hell is this? Yeah, very, very annoying. But yeah, though that lion and the fucking
Crucible Knight, yeah.
Radon I beat on my own, by the way, with summons, just so people are very aware. Yeah, once you clock that fight, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's
His
just
wounds are
Once you can understand it, yeah.
The ending phase, I think the hardest thing about him is when he summons the big rocks and throws them at you.
Yeah, but I just get on my horse.
100%, that is the move. But if you don't do that, and even if like it clips you a little bit, if you're low enough level, it just one-shots you sometimes. That's probably the most annoying thing. Other than that, I don't think he's that difficult.
So I think my problem is that I am probably too low level right now. I think I'm about 55, I think, at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what level you should be up for him, but...
I think like you should
also
probably try and get... I mean...
the look in your face is like, I think you're at the right level. You're just bad.
I don't remember what level I was at him, but I would probably say like anywhere from like where you are to like 70-ish is probably like the level you should be at for him.
I just don't have the patience to go grind.
That's fair.
I hate grinding in this game. I didn't hate grinding in this game. Like when you find the certain spots, like all right, fine. I know what I'm doing now for the next couple of hours. Like I can do this. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, my problem has never been like that. I hate the grinding. It's the time to do it. Like I don't have 2 hours to just sit there, farming runes.
I think for me, the problem I always have with grinding in a game like this is I do it once. I'm like, cool, I'll do this for the next half hour. I'll get X amount of runes. I do it a second time. I'm like, cool, I'm making progress. I do it the third time. I'm like, I got a quarter of a level. I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. I'm not doing it ever again.
That's my problem. I'll get like, I think there's a cheese spot near one of the towers.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The big silver ball that chases you and you make it fall off a cliff. Yeah, I used that one in my previous PlayStation playthrough because, again, I don't know why I picked this up on PC again because I thought we'd be co-oping and we're not. But so I did that for like 2-3 levels, and by that point, I was like, if this is what Elden Ring is, you can keep it.
It's not though. Yeah,
you're meant to like explore because there's like a lot of side stuff for you to do in this game.
Yeah, but my problem is I think I hit that specific point in the game where it's like, right, I can either go do this one mission, which is the next boss, or I can go to new areas. But every new area feels like it's too over leveled for me. And it's like, well, I can either stay in the under-leveled areas and just grind a lot, or I can go into the over-level and fight tooth and nail to stay alive.
You're probably missing a good number of like catacombs and stuff like that. You can go through like the mini dungeon areas.
Yeah, maybe. To be fair, I've not seen a lot of those in my current playthrough. Like in the beginning in Limgrave, I saw quite a few, but as I got further into it, no. Yeah,
they get more out of the way for you to find. They're not like on the main path. They incentivize you to explore more and more.
That was so fun because you beat the boss in there like first time. It makes you feel like a badass every time.
Yeah,
because you're like,
and it's like significantly easier than the main bosses.
Yeah, I'm the best at this game, and then you go see a main boss. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not. I'm sorry.
And what feels really bad? What feels really bad is when you go through one of those catacombs and you're like all good, and then you get to that boss, and that boss just kicks your ass in a way that like it's like I got 2-shot. That's not supposed to 2-shot me.
This go on. Unless you got more to say. I want to hear Crash's opinions on the DLC.
Yeah, no, me too. So, I will probably continue this, but it will be very I think like you, I won't be playing the DLC anytime soon. So if you want a review or an opinion on the DLC, you're gonna have to listen to Crash.
Yeah.
Look, I think what happens is at some point when it all gets updated into the seamless co-op mod, we all run through that a little bit, a little at a time. We don't have to do it in one sitting. We don't have to do it in one sitting. We wouldn't in one sitting. We wouldn't do it in one sitting.
So here's my problem: isn't the seamless mod a separate save?
Yeah, we would start like a new save, but doing it with 3-player co-op.
Yeah, okay. Because now we know everything.
It's also like Yeah, it's also like they have like their own different rules for when people die and you respawn. You can respawn most of the time except for boss rooms. You're allowed to respawn and run back to people. Yeah, so there's stuff you can do with that. Anyway, Shadow the Erdtree. So
I've heard about it.
I got there late last night. So I had no save ready for it. And I was like, I can get there right away. And then console, I didn't have a save ready for it because I had started New Game Plus whenever. And I was a little bit through on PC on my playthrough. I was like, I'm just going to grind the rest of the way on PC. I don't think it's that deep because in my mind, Mog's around the same time you fight Radon. Mog's like an end game boss where I spent all of yesterday grinding to get to him. And then I beat him last night and then I loaded up Shadow the Erdtree. I played for like 3 or 4 hours, so I didn't play like a long time, but I like it a lot. I'm getting like 1 or 2 shot by almost every single enemy in that in the area, but it kind of like when I was replaying through it again on PC, I was like, some of that magic was gone of like, oh, I see a camp over there. I'm going to go. I know what's there for the most part. Or I know ish what I'm getting there. Like, I don't need to go there. That doesn't have an item for me. It's not enough souls for me to like really go and level up or whatever. Where I'm playing through this and I see a guard over there and I go and see a guard and then I see a church to the left and then a camp to the right. And I'm like, I have stuff to explore and I'm finding stuff and I found a weapon. It's a faith weapon. I'm never going to use it. I don't build faith. But found a weapon and that was really dope and the weapon looked cool and like it sort of reinvigorated that. I was like, oh yeah, this is why I liked Elden Ring the first time it came around. And not to say that I didn't enjoy the replay, but that sense of discovery that you get in Elden Ring, I think is unmatched in a lot of games, just from a game aspect of just going out and just finding cool new stuff for the game. And so it's cool. Visually, I think it's really, really beautiful. I think Elden Ring in general has moments where you see landscapes and stuff like that that looks good. It does.
I don't think so. I don't find the game good looking at all. Like, I understand it's not my color palette, it's not my world that I want to be in, so it's not going to be. I 100% agree with you. You're 100% right. Okay. But like, I don't look at it and go beautiful. Where you give me a zombie biting my neck off, and I'm like, what a beauty! This is the best thing ever. You know, so like, it's just it's just not beautiful to me. It's not.
That's fair.
On my eye, it's not like. Don't get me wrong. There has been moments like that I've looked across. When you're up high anyway, and you look out towards, you're like, I've come from there. Like, it very much like Breath of the Wild did it to me quite often as well. Like, you've traveled a very far distance and you look that far, you're like, damn, like I can actually see it.
I was over there.
But yeah,
that little speck.
It just come from over there. Yeah. So no, you are right. I'm taking the piss.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I definitely had that moment again, just to go back to my playthrough of Elden Ring, I definitely had that moment where the very first area where you spawn in and then die very quickly. There is a point where I think I'd be the second boss. I can never remember the name because they all sound the same.
One of the attention, mate.
One of the margarine ones. The guy with the dragon for an arm.
Okay, yeah.
And you come out and then you go off to the church on the left. But if you go behind the church on the left, you can see a little floating island in the distance, which is actually the area that you died at the beginning of the game. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yep. And then I know there is a way to get back there, but I haven't found it yet. But yeah.
Yeah, I forget if I think that's side area and it's not part of the main quest, but you do get back there at some point. I've been enjoying it. The bosses they found a very interesting way to keep people who are like new game plus 15 from just like stomping through it and being overpowered, and that it has its own power scaling, like the way you find seeds and chalices. Right? Yeah, so you find there's one for your Ashes of War and summons. I think it might not even be your Ashes of War, it might just be summons in your mount. And there's one for weapons and the damage you take and the damage you deal. And you find these like, I'll call them seeds because that's what they are in the base game. You find the seeds and then you go back to base and you use them to level up. You're on the trail of a character you're going around, and it's done in a very interesting and unique way, where I felt like this is a fresh game, and I know a lot of people are on New Game Plus 10. I was like, surely I'm not going to have as hard of a time because I assumed it scaled to some point with the new games. No, I was still getting like 2 shot. I was having the same difficulty, and the ability to do that in the way Elden Ring works, I think they found a very, very cool and dope compromise for them. And so I'm just enjoying it. I think it keeps everybody in that conversation as well, which is really dope, where it's not, some people are like, this is really difficult, and other people, it's really easy or whatever. They added a lot of the stuff that are in the base game are here as well in a weird way. Like, you have the circles that you can go into to summon people, and they have the little stone snakes. I don't know what you would call them outside of the of the gates.
They have goals. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so they have those, except they're underground, and you drop down into them, and they're spirit snakes outside of the place. And so they have stuff that you would recognize from the original one. Once you put them together, and it's like, oh, it's literally just the opposite of the game. And visually, where the main game looks more dead, this game looks more alive in other aspects, which I think is really interesting. Overall, I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably have a lot more to say next week once I'm like a bit deeper into it.
I was gonna say, have you had a chance to play with any of the new classes or like new weapon types that they've got in the game?
No, I haven't gotten to any of them. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Soon come. Well, that's my Elden Ring and me. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Let's get into some news, boys. What's this week's dashboard? Microsoft is now issuing refunds for Redfall following the Arcane Austin closure. Microsoft's now issuing refunds after months. A month after the announced end of development and cancellation of the DLC. This is good. Obviously, we kind of expected this. To be honest with you, but I'm glad that it's happening. Is a month too long? I don't think so. I think anyone with a brain understands how hard it is to shut a studio and then, sort out refunds. I don't think it's too long, but I did see a few people online complaining that it took Microsoft a quote unquote long time to refund people. So yeah, very, very interesting. But this is on everything, by the way, that you can get if you bought it via Xbox Store, Epic, Steam. No matter where you bought it, you'll be refunded back to your original form of payment automatically. So it's not like they're trying to do the whole, and now you get Microsoft Store credit or some bullcrap. No, you get it strictly back.
I assume if they were going to keep because originally it was supposed to be just store credit. If they were to keep that, I assume you would have been able to get refunds a while ago. They were probably like figuring out what's the logistics of doing all this. So
you know what I would have liked for that? You know what I would have liked for them to have done? Offered like double the store credit and then half the normal price back to the original payment. So it's kind of like, hey, because you did buy a thing that they've ultimately cancelled, and realistically, probably people have just bought more Game Pass with it. So yeah, so I think it something like that would have been cool, but whatever. Nonetheless,
I think this is the easiest option. Like again, like you said, the logistics of it, because it's not just the Xbox Store that they're going to have to do this through. There's going to be anywhere this game was available, the physical purchases as well. And so obviously the logistics of arranging that with all of the physical sellers to be able to give that refund, because they have to then claim that back through Xbox. Yeah. A month doesn't seem that long in the grand scheme of things.
Agreed. On the topic of this though, it's not in the news story. Did you guys see some of the conversation that happened with Matt Booty around? He was on a podcast talking. There's a few statements that came out of it. Nothing worth really talking about in general, but there was one thing he said about why they shut down Tango, and they said it was a leadership thing. It was to do with all the changing of leaderships, which go on.
With Shinji leaving.
I'm just, just like I said, I didn't listen to it myself. I just saw a few quotes on Twitter going around. So I don't want to comment too much on it because I don't like speaking out my butt cheeks unless it's just me speaking out my butt cheeks for reasons that I decide to. But yeah, interesting that they're coming out and saying things like this. I feel like the conversation had just gotten. I had finally just gotten over it. I
don't think they should have said anything. I saw the comment. I was like, I don't care what the answer is at this point. Like, just talking about it is just, after you had the showcase, like, just let the showcase live. Don't.
No, agreed. But yeah, just thought it'd be interesting to bring up nonetheless. Next piece of news: Bethesda not rushing new Fallout game, planning more expansions for Starfield. I did see this one going around. Obviously, there's been a lot of conversations about will Todd Howard now release the shackles of Fallout from his hand with the success of the Fallout TV show? Would somebody else go in there and develop a new Fallout game? And there's a few quotes out here that we got from a few different things. Would you want a new Fallout game made by not Bethesda and Todd Howard out of interest, Teaspawn?
Yes, we might get a New Vegas 2. Not specifically New Vegas 2, but another game of that caliber from somebody.
Okay, so you'd be fine with everybody, even if it wasn't like Obsidian.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Obsidian. Like, if they find the right studio, then I'd be fine with that. Like, but I think opening up franchises to a fresh set of eyes can possibly lead to magic. So yeah, I'd be okay with it. Like, again, obviously the proof is in the pudding, and if they did it and what came out of it, but I think the potential is there for something.
What if they took Fallout and made like a walking sim or something like that, and went like a different genre and didn't make like explore that world? No, this is a serious question, because we've talked about it for Gears of War, where like a stealth Gears of War game or a horror Gears of War game, those could be dope. Do you feel like the same thing with Fallout, or do you feel like Fallout is what it is because of the way the game is?
So does it have to be a Western RPG kind of, or can it be something else within that world? I mean, they've done other things in that world already. They've done the Fallout shelters and things like that, which, granted, not the same scale and, you know, not the same kind of quality. But, like, yeah, if someone's got a unique idea, I'd be well open to, like, somebody coming up and releasing something new within that genre, or within that franchise, that adds something new to it. Like the way that Gears Tactics did with Gears of War. Yeah. Like, give us something interesting within that world, then yeah, I'd be okay with that. It don't specifically have to be another mainline Fallout game style game. Like, I'd be okay with something new.
Interesting. Well, we've got a quote here anyway. This interview was from Mr. Matt Plays, who's a big Xbox advocate. This is from his YouTube, from Todd Howard saying, for other Fallout games in the future, you know, obviously I can't talk about those right now, but what I would say, sort of rushing them, the thought of rushing them or any kind of need to get stuff out that is different than the work we're doing on Fallout 76. Sorry, I read that really poorly. You know, we don't feel like we need to rush any of that, he told Mr. Matt Plays. The Fallout TV show fills a certain niche in terms of the franchise and storytelling. Yeah, I gotta disagree with Todd this time, if I'm being totally honest with you. It's one of the few times that I feel like Fallout right now is red hot, or even... No, it still is hot. It still is hot. It's going through a resurgence. You've seen people jump back into Fallout 76, like we wouldn't have thought would have happened without the TV show. I do feel like they need to rush out something, not like a bad quality. Obviously, that's never the answer. And, you know, games take a long time to make, so it's never really going to happen. But yeah, I'm interested to see where Xbox go now when if they have another successful hit like this, with a TV show. Obviously Gears is coming up next, and we got a few other bits I'm sure in the works we don't even know about, right? I'm interested in how they're going to position gaming when they do have cultural hits like this again.
Do you think with Fallout specifically, do you think if Bethesda were to like, do you think the risk is too high of them putting out something bad again? Because like realistically, Fallout 76 not good. Fallout 4 amongst Fallout fans, I'm not going to talk about the general public, is probably a weaker Fallout. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying Fallout fans in particular.
Yeah, no, they don't
always the
get as much as free or New Vegas, 100%.
So if you were to do another Fallout and it falls in the lines of those two, do you think it does more damage than it would do benefit?
Nah. Any other studio, I would say no, but for Bethesda, yes. And maybe that's just me being a Bethesda hater, let's be honest. I'm not a Bethesda hater, but their games just don't always jive with me.
I feel like the culture is like slowly shifted against Bethesda, and it's not. I think even outside of like the Microsoft acquisition, I don't think that helped Bethesda at all. But I think it's been shifting with Bethesda slowly, and so that's sort of my worry about like I think this is good news for Bethesda, is that I think if they were to try and rush it out and be like, we have a hot thing right now, let's put all our effort into Fallout, and then you sort of miss the mark, because those games are supposed to be big and expansive, and you're supposed to have side quests that affect the world, whatever. I'll insert Fallout stuff. Despawn can add anything he wants to add.
Insert all that thing here.
Death Claws.
Nukes.
Nukes. Vault Boys.
Instead of it takes time to make those games. So I think this is better for like the culture at Xbox, especially for this, where it does take time. And even if you look at it like Gears of War, if they make a hit for Gears of War, I don't think rushing out a Gears of War game with how good those games look and how technically impressive it is does those games benefit in general.
True. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think reacting to another medium being popular is a good thing for video games, because like you said, video games take time. They're hard as hell, and yeah, like to then be like something like, I'm sure they expected the Fallout TV show to be great, but did they expect it to be this big of a hit? Probably not. And yeah, for it to be this big a hit, and then them turn around and go, oh, we need to rush something out as fast as possible. That's not how you make the best games out there.
You know what you get when you do that? You get the stupid movie games that everybody shat on for like so long. Like, this is the worst thing ever. You'd get the return of that if like companies started doing that again, which I have a feeling at some point we'll get back into that territory, because it's just the cycle of life.
Yeah, hopefully.
True. Are you excited for more Starfield expansion when that happens?
Yes, I am.
That's
Nobody was surprised.
Really? Me? Surprised? No. Yes, I am. I am very excited for Shattered Space. I'm excited for whatever comes next. Yes.
Fair enough. Next piece of news, Dragon Age. There's obviously been a lot of talk about Dragon Age, the Vanguard, which people have been previewing. People seem to be enjoying it quite a bit. Some people saying it's the best gameplay in a Dragon Age game ever. So I praise that there for people. I've not played it myself. But the director says that you can play the game entirely offline, and there won't be any microtransactions or battle passes in Dragon Age Vanguard. Am I saying that right? Vanguard?
Veilguard.
Thank you. I thought I said it wrong.
A little bit of a hot take. I liked BioWare's co-op stuff.
Yeah.
The Mass Effect co-op stuff, the Dragon Age Inquisition one. I think the worst thing about them is like they were like very loot box heavy. At least the Mass Effect one was very loot box heavy, which was kind of unfortunate. But I do think they were like fun spaces to play in. Although if they're gonna like, this seems like a reset for BioWare in degrees with this and Mass Effect. So I do think like a fresh start with just single player focus is the right move. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, no, I had no problem with the multiplayer stuff that they've done in the past and the co-op stuff. But when it comes to Dragon Age, like, I want to just have a fully fledged story that I don't need to worry about like purchasing extra things to, fully flesh out that world. Like, I'm down for DLC in the future after the game drops, but like for right now, I'll just like, I like the way that they're wording this. Like, this, when they're saying it's like they want to give it the fully fledged like experience on day one, no bells and whistles added extra after the fact. That I'm excited for.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of game companies are starting to learn. You've got games like Cyberpunk, you've got games like The Witcher, you've got, there's complete Baldur's Gate 3. You've got complete experiences out there now, and I feel like that's why everyone hated on those games from an industry standpoint of developers. I remember the conversation happening where like everyone was like, don't expect us to be Baldur's Gate 3. Don't expect this. And it's like, no, we have come to expect our games to be fully fledged and,
have quality.
A level of quality. Exactly. So yeah, I'm excited for this Dragon Age. It's not I've never played a Dragon Age before. I played like a tiny bit of Inquisition, I believe. But yeah, I'm looking forward to actually jumping in and diving into a Dragon Age game. So,
Despawn, have you played all the Dragon Age games?
So I've completed the first two. I played, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 hours of Inquisition. I don't know why at the time, it just never clicked with me. I do want to go back and do it though, like in the run up to this dropping. But yeah, I've played a ton of. I even replayed Origins recently, like maybe last year.
So then I have a question that is relevant to you. A lot of people have been like sort of dissuaded by the direction of Veilguard in terms of like gameplay and tone of like that first trailer they showed. They're like, it's not really Dragon Age, it's not fitting in. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's sort of out of pocket a little bit?
I feel like the tone is a little bit different from what they've done in the past, because Dragon Age as a story is very serious, and this feels like it's kind of leaning into a bit more humor. But that doesn't worry me too much. I think, again, for something that's, you know, a sizzle trailer to kind of get you hyped on it, and the fact that it is very much built around like the core like squad that you're going to be building, I think I'm okay with it. And again, while I've had some misses, I kind of trust BioWare to tell a good Dragon Age story. So yeah, I'm not like, I can see where the concerns are coming from, that it doesn't feel like quote unquote Dragon Age, but also I'm saying I'll wait to get my hands on it before I get scared.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair enough. Next up, boys, we're back to Elden Ring again. My Elden Ring and me's back. No, Elden Ring director Hideki. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's right. Go on, Chris. Tell me what it is. You must know this name. This is your hero.
Hidetaka Miyazaki. I always call him Miyazaki. You could have just said Miyazaki.
Thank you. Won't allow layoffs at FromSoft as long as he's in charge. Kind of a nice story just to talk about. Obviously, a director, someone who could be taking bonuses left, right, and center. Obviously, the face of Elden Ring coming out saying that he. Miyazaki said he can't 100% guarantee FromSoft will be saved from job losses, which have so far seen thousands of jobs across the board, but won't allow it as long as the company isn't his responsibility. That's the quote. Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't mean much, unfortunately, because the industry's in the state that it's in right now. We're feeling it right now, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, the more I talk to people outside the games and the more, like, in other entertainment spaces, they're just like, hey, yeah, I don't want to come work in games. And I'm like, damn, that's such a
bubble's bursting.
Yeah, it definitely is. Don't get me wrong, it still generates more money than TV, more money than film, and music, but the risk and the stress of moving your family across country to pursue something that you might then be sacked for a month later, why would anybody want to do that and sign up for that? You know, and that's where games, and that's what games are known for right now, is the losses, not the amazing, beautiful experiences that we get to experience. They're known right now as job loss after job loss, which sucks.
Yeah, it's painful to from being on the outside, or like, well, we kind of report on it every week, is like being on the outside in, it is so painful to watch and having no way to do anything about it. All we can do is, like, again, say, talk with our wallets, kind of big up those voices that are doing good things, like, say, with Miyazaki coming out and saying this kind of stuff. It's great to see that there's a head of a studio out there that's got the right mindset when it comes to these kind of things. It's a shame there's not more of those kind of people out there.
Last story, boys.
Cool.
As Starfield stream reviews plunged to mostly negative, amongst Todd Howard's response to paid mod backlash. I haven't even read this at all. What's going on? Anyone know? What's going on with this?
So
to me.
Basically what's happened is, obviously I got excited. We all saw at the reaction stream. They recently announced the creation kit is now out there in the wild for everyone to use. And as part of that, they have paid mods within that so that modders can get paid, which I personally think is a great thing. People put a lot of time, effort into modding games. It's always nice to pay them back. But the main issue is that Bethesda themselves are putting storyline mods into Creation Kit and then charging quite a large amount for them. So I think it is the Outlaw system that they've introduced, where the first one you can download for free. But if you want to do any of the other ones, they are, I think, 700 credits in game.
About $7.
About $7.
$7.
Per
Did you
each one.
hear their defense of it?
I didn't. No.
So their defense of it was that they created a gun they wanted to release in the mod kit, and they were like, well, why just release the gun? Let's give them a whole experience. And essentially they wanted to charge $7 for the gun is what it sounds like, and they decided to add a little bit extra to it, which is unfortunate.
That sounds great.
Interesting. Yeah, not my wheelhouse, I'll be honest with you. So I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself. Sometimes my mom says you've got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And I don't even know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, so
Yeah.
moving on swiftly.
I mean, one thing I would say is that Todd did come out and say that they're going to look at the pricing because they kind of agree with the feedback that maybe it wasn't the best move. So hopefully going forwards, this shouldn't be an issue as much. And yeah,
I think if somebody decides like, hey, I'm gonna release a mod and I want to charge XYZ, and you made the mod, cool, I have like no issue. I think the issue does come down to Bethesda being like, we're gonna add this as sort of like, hey, this is what you could do. It like you just wanted to get $7 out of people at the end of the day is what it feels like, whether that's the case or not.
Actually, a lot of money as well for something like that, by the sounds of it.
Yeah,
and I think for me, the big one is that it's very much like modding community, help them get paid. That's great. You're giving them the means to do that. But when you start paywalling your own content behind that function, that's when it becomes a little bit, murky waters, as it were.
Fair enough. Crash. Guess that game time, bud.
Guess that game. So guess that game is where one of the hosts, me this week, picks a game, and the other two will take turns asking yes or no questions. I will then answer the yes or no question. And at the end of the allotted time, which is 1:30, I believe.
Yup.
Both of the boys here, and sometimes Matt P, when Matt P is on this podcast,
He's
will
alive?
make a guess as to what it is. He is maybe. Anyway, boys, 1:30. Are you guys?
Look, can I just speak to D-Small for a second?
Yeah.
D-Small,
Yes. Hi.
don't waste time and ask the goddamn right questions.
Okay, what are the right questions? Can I have a list?
Just come
I
on.
can give you the game if you want despawn and then ask.
Yeah,
like,
if you could,
know?
if you just ping me the game, and then we can go from there.
I'm ready, Crash.
I'm
All right.
ready.
Let me just move over the Wikipedia page so you guys don't see it in the reflection in the back.
If somebody's doing that, I respect you
I'm
so
just
much.
like,
My eyesight's not that good. Don't worry.
all right. Are you boys ready? I'm gonna show you guys the timer when it starts, and then
Yeah, you're good.
I'm not gonna hold it at camera.
I'm ready.
You guys ready? It's gonna be
Yep.
fixed and despawn.
All right. I haven't played this game.
Yes, that's a good question.
That's a good question. Have I played this game?
Oh, he
I
ain't
don't
gonna
know.
He ain't
Okay.
gonna know you. Get out of here. Xbox exclusive.
No.
Capcom.
No.
EA.
Yes.
Multiplayer.
Yes.
Does the game have sequels?
No.
Oh.
No. Okay. Does it have guns?
Yes, I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Okay.
Oh. First person?
No.
Okay. Multiplayer.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You already said that.
Oh, did it? Okay. I'm sorry.
Sci-fi?
No.
Oh. Fantasy.
No.
Survival horror?
No.
Xbox 360 era.
No.
Can you fly?
No.
Are there swords?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
I'm lost.
Yeah. Same. I'm completely lost.
Don't focus on the
Xbox 360?
You guys are out of time. No, Despawn asked that. It is not 360.
Okay, run it through one more time. I've played the game.
I might have played the game.
In person.
Third person. Multiplayer.
Multiplayer.
Don't focus on the guns part because I'm not sure about the guns.
Multiplayer. Huh. Is that all we got?
No swords.
No swords.
That doesn't help us, Despawn.
But it's so it's an EA game that's multiplayer that has sequels.
Multiplayer. I'm gonna give you guys one tip.
Didn't have
No
sequels.
sequels.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a hint here. Multiplayer is a very loose term.
Okay.
So think on how you guys are thinking of multiplayer here, and maybe tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with something that. Alright, I've got one in my head. I don't think it's right, but
Yeah, I had one in my head, but then, yeah. No.
multiplayer, yes, is the answer though, right?
Multiplayer, yes.
Okay,
More than one person.
Yeah. That's fine. Alright, I'm good.
I've got one, but I don't think it's right.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I'm just gonna say Anthem.
No, I said flying.
Yeah.
Is it A Way Out?
It is A Way Out. Yes. Yes.
Go,
it is.
Baby! Let's go!
Did you clarify the
smokes.
multiplayer bit?
No, it's because it was actually the guns. The guns were the big part where technically there's a gun moment in that game at the end.
That's what I was thinking of, but I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know.
If you would, and actually there's a gun part when you're in the car as well as you're driving. Anyway, you don't care. Holy smokes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Let's go, Despawn. You suck.
Did you play it, Despawn? Because I honestly didn't know if you played it. No.
No. You never played The Way Out? Okay, no. We are 100% streaming The Way Out. We are 100% have to stream The Way Out. That game's amazing.
I'm busy playing Elden Ring.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Well, the points look like this now, Crash. Crash, you currently sit at the top with 7 points. I currently sit second with 5 points. Despawn, you currently sit third with 4 points, and Matt sits last with 3 points. Holy smokes, I pulled that out of the bag.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. It was the sequel. It was the sequel thing as well, because really, you got to then think, okay, most EA games have sequels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was almost going to say Star Wars. Almost, because I was like, why is he shooting? Okay, like, is he going to be like, oh, I don't know. The guns are not actually guns. They're a laser or something like that. Yeah, exactly. You just never know with you. Let's be honest. We never know. All right, let's jump into Fix a Sag. Remember, you can email in myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up in our Discord. If you haven't joined that, feel free to join. Great community in there. You should do that. Or hit us up on Twitter, #MXAM @MCFixer, @CrashNickPlays, at Paul Despawn. First one that comes from Top Lift 91 and says, given how much was shown at the showcase, how big do you expect Xbox to go at Gamescom? And what are you hoping to see? Good question. I assume you're talking about how big do I expect the showcase to be, is what I'm imagining you're saying. I'm expecting extended looks of things that were already shown at their not E3 showcase. I'm not expecting anything too crazy. I think we'll see a lot more of Avowed. I think we'll see anything that's leading up, a bit more Indiana Jones, and a lot of stuff that's coming out this year. Because this is the last time they get to show anything other than TGS, but I imagine that's going to focus more on the Japanese audience, and they've done that previously now. Where this is going to be aimed at Europeans, we expect. So yeah, I'm expecting just sort of a longer demos, longer game showcases of a lot of stuff that we just previously saw that are coming out at the rest of 2024 through to the beginning of 2025. That's where my head's at. I don't know about you guys. Despawn, where you at?
Yeah, kind of the same. Obviously, Killer Instinct. We're definitely going to see that there. Sorry, Crash.
I gotta do that to me.
I know. Why am I going to do that to you? Because of what just happened. But no, I think it's going to be very much a kind of case of look at like what we've already seen at the game showcase, like in-depth looks at those kind of things. A couple of the smaller indie titles that they're working with. So again, Towerborn. I expect 33 Immortals to get a release date around this, maybe. Yep. So yeah, I expect those things. And then again, like I say, yeah, Killer Instinct.
Crash?
Killer, we're gonna see Killer Instinct. It's gonna be so exciting. I'm gonna be so happy.
Of course.
My heart isn't broken right now. It's not like shattered into pieces.
Nope, not at all.
I think I'm in line with you, Fix. I don't think we're gonna see anything new. I think there's probably a couple of games that they didn't show at the showcase that we've already known about. That probably they didn't have enough time that they'll end up fitting into Gamescom, but I don't think we see anything new. And I think the best mind state to go into this, because I've seen a lot of people talking about it like they're going to have another not E3 showcase.
No.
Do not go into this with a not E3 showcase mindset. Like you're going to, even if they have a good showcase and they show new stuff off, you're not going to live up to the not E3 showcase. So yeah, I think nothing new, but I do think they have enough stuff to show that it will still be a good showing of things as well, because they have a lot of games coming out for once, and they have a lot of stuff to show off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100% agree. Yeah. Please don't go in with it. Not E3 10 out of 10 expectations.
I've seen people doing that, and it's so confusing.
Like, I think for a good few years now, we're going to be hard pressed to get a showcase as good as that one.
Yeah, it'll be years.
Yeah, like we haven't. We've not. I don't think. Are we having a conversation? Are we going to sit down at some point and talk about everything, or is it a bit too late now?
Too late now.
Yeah, but I think honestly that 10 out of 10 showcase, like that's probably the best looking showcase Xbox have probably ever had at this point.
I agree.
Like, so yeah, like
you'd have to be looking back at the 360 showcases.
Yeah.
Find something.
Like, and even at that point, I'm still like, they had Call of Duty on Game Pass day one. Yeah, and then end with Gears of War. Like, you don't. Yeah, like if you're going into Gamescom expecting anything of that caliber at this point, like you are setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I do agree with you on that. Willie Average says, why does the conversation around Xbox always change so quickly? 1 month ago, it was, this is the end of the world. And now, post-showcase, it has been all positive and lots of excitement again. This isn't the first time the conversation around Xbox has changed quickly. And it's something that doesn't seem to happen with other platforms. Is it because the other platforms stay quiet, so there is less chance for negativity? Or is it just a more doom and gloom attitude around Xbox? The community seems to always jump to worst case scenario assumptions with Xbox on literally any small thing, but the same doesn't happen as easily with other platforms. It ends up in this situation where people in the Xbox community always overreact, and sometimes about nothing. Like Perfect Dark, people literally assume the game was dead or gonna be terrible, and it looks anything but that. Sorry for the long message and the multiple questions in one. It just all feels connected. From Willie Average. I mean, I'll speak on myself as I'm someone who people would assume would say I've got whiplash. Nothing has changed for me. Xbox had a fantastic showcase, 10 out of 10. Super happy, super excited for what they've got coming. It doesn't change a thing around the fact that their messaging is still poor 99% of the time, and I don't trust a word that comes out of their leadership's mouth. Like, that doesn't change. So I can only talk from my own perspective on this, because again, I'm not saying that you're speaking specifically about me, but you've got to remember, when it comes to us, and we'll talk about us as in general, right? We're covering not E3. We're not then going to be like, oh my god, look at all this amazing stuff. But let's talk negative right now over the things that we're hyped about. That just doesn't make sense. So I think that's why you might feel like there's a sense of whiplash. And to be fair, this showcase was the best Xbox showcase we've probably had. So people who were kind of negative on Xbox are going to be hype about it now, because they're finally showing things that people are interested in seeing. So, and in the same breath, Xbox just shut down 2 studios. That is going to be a lull. Xbox have taken games that we expected to stay first party and turn them into third party games. We're in a new world. Xbox has changed. It isn't the same Xbox it was a year ago.
It's also partly just the nature of being online in the internet. Yes. I mean, even like if you're looking at their competitors and you look at Sony just had the big, like the whole thing happening with what's the Helldivers?
Yeah.
They had the whole thing with Helldivers and needing to sign on and whatever, and then they released Ghost of Tsushima like a couple of weeks later, and the conversation flips completely to the opposite, and nobody's talking negative again. And I think it happens throughout the industry. You just might not be as tuned in or paying attention to those parts of it, especially if you're online. The way algorithms for social media and stuff like that work are, they're going to focus on what you enjoy and the stuff you interact with, and so you're going to see more negative and more positive for it. And it's horrible, especially
the algorithm's awful nowadays.
Twitter's horrible. Twitter is so bad.
It's so manipulative as well, because like you click on one thing. Like I've noticed it with TikTok. Like we'll start with TikTok. I'll watch one video and it will just keep feeding me the set, and I'm like, no, block, just to be like, I don't want to see that type of. It happens to me very much with GTA roleplay. I watch one clip of GTA roleplay, and it will just feed it to me constantly. Algorithms are just like, oh, you like that? All right, more.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with this. It's the same thing with Twitter. Now, you interact with what you like, or you interact or look at something that's negative, it starts feeding you more of that. It sucks, but that is just the nature of these social media sites now. They've learned how to manipulate us in a way that we have to try and... You have to go out of your way to search for other opinions now. Like, it doesn't just get fed to you anymore, which is really, really interesting. But yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you, Crash, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think for me, again, it is very much what you guys have covered, but we are celebrating the things that we enjoy, but we are also like, we're going to comment on the things that we don't. So like when we talk, like when you guys talk about the fact that Xbox have had a terrible marketing strategy because their marketing is terrible, we're going to point it out. But then when they do it right and they have a game showcase that's one of the best game showcases ever, we're going to celebrate it. Yeah. It's not like we're getting whiplash or we're flipping back and forwards. We celebrate the good stuff. We call out the bad stuff. That's what happens. Xbox just so happened to be very much built their whole ethos about how they talk to us as that friendly Western Xbox company that, they have faces that we put names to. Whereas Sony don't really have that. They're very much like the games speak for themselves. Yeah. So we'll only show you games. And then when they do put their foot in the, in the mouth, you get the stuff like Helldivers 2. To be fair, Ghost of Tsushima had the same issue as well with you can't buy the game in like 80% of the markets that Steam's on. We call that stuff out. But it's very much a case of when Xbox do well, they do really well. When Xbox do bad, they basically chewing on foot for a week. And we call them out on it, and that's what happens. It's not that we're going backwards and forwards like we think they're great, we think they're terrible.
I think that's 99% of creators, by the way.
Yeah,
I think that's a lot of creators. Don't get me wrong, you've definitely got the other creators out there that just go with the engagement farm. And I think that's what you're seeing a lot more of nowadays. People will just engagement farm, especially since you can be paid on Twitter now. If that's where if that's where you live on X, and I'm going to stop calling it Twitter, I'm going to start calling it X, because that's what it's called. I am going to. Like people engagement farm so much more now than they ever have before. So you'll see people put out hot takes. I think I don't even want to name them, but I will. Like it's like the Dreamcast guy who was like, it's so obviously engagement farming. But people buy it on it so much, and it's like, bro, you lot just pay his mortgage properly.
The best thing you can do is just not interact, and I think people find it so difficult because it's so easy to like. I did it. I think yesterday or something like that. I responded.
You did. I saw you get a bit spicy. I liked it. I like that side of you, Crash. I like it.
I saw it. It was just blatantly wrong. They were talking about like what Jess Corden, like the Black Myth Wukong situation. Yeah. Somebody like took. He put out a quote because Xbox responded saying, what was it exactly Xbox said? Xbox said, we don't comment on other partners, like other deals with publishers.
Parties. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Jess Corden put out an article with that and gave a little bit more information about like these deals do sort of exist, but put the onus back on Xbox in the article completely, or the person completely took the info out of context and was acting like Jess Corden was doubling down that Sony made a deal or whatever, which was absurd.
Happens to Jez a lot. He'll put out an article there that's just an opinion, and they're like, they take it as factual, and it's like so unfair. It
really is. So I was like, this is just whatever. I have to after I did that, I was like, maybe I deleted, but then I was like, no, 'cause
No.
you have to. Somebody has to at some point,
100%.
just so the information's there, you know.
100%. But yeah, I think that's all you're saying.
Spicy one. That's what you.
Also,
forget me fresh. Be spicy.
Yeah. I just want to point out, like, the idea that if the not wanting the conversation to change and be consistent is disingenuous across everything, because not everything is ever going to be good. And if you only want to stay positive or something about it, then you're not being very truthful about that thing as well. So you have to look at the implications of the conversation staying consistent as well. And I don't think those are like beneficial either.
No, and again, I think I don't know how much content you listen to or you watch or who you watch or any of that. So it's hard to comment on all of this, right? But like for us, we are three idiots in our spare bedrooms or offices talking video games. Like, we are not journalists and we are not this. We get hyped when Fable gets shown and then we get upset when Tango gets shut down. Like, that's just who we are as people, and that's the content we make. Like, I don't get it. I don't think it's necessarily like negative or positive or this or that. It's just opinions. That's all it is. And you should take it as that. Like, people out there give opinions on the internet and people listen to them and they don't. And then you extrapolate what you take from that conversation, right? You don't take it all verbatim. So yeah, that's what I would say on it. But no, appreciate the question. It was a good question. So thank you very much for writing in. Next up, and our last one for this week, is from Origin Cookie Man, who says, a lot of the greatest games onboard new players to reach a intermediate skill level in clever / rewarding ways, e.g. Mario Kart, triple press fast / drift boost, Gears active reload / headshots. What would you say is the intermediate level technique that makes you an Elden Ring player? Congrats, Fix, on defeating the Fire Giant all by himself. Thank you for laying for me. I appreciate it. Well, Elden Ring for me was the tree. Like, that first tree. I don't know if that's like it was designed that way, but like that the big tree guy. I don't know if he is a tree, but you know what I'm on about, right? Like, I spent 2.5 hours trying to beat him, and people like, just run past him. It's fine. Like, you can go level up. And it wasn't the case of I wanted to run past him. It was a case of, I need to learn how to play Elden Ring, because this guy isn't hard. So if I can't beat this guy right now in these next 5 hours, I am not beating Redan, and I'm not beating this person, and I'm not beating that person. So for me, I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, and again, Elden Ring players will be able to tell you better, but that moment for me was very much like, this is how you dodge into attacks, dodge into the attack, dodge into the attack.
Rolling.
Like, yeah, learn to roll. Thank you. Roll into the attack. Roll into the attack. Like, that was the moment for me. Like, there's other stuff that you do in that world where you can go and fight other things and you can go and explore and whatever. But that was the moment for me that was like the intermediate level technique of like, you are going to come up against things that are way bigger than me, that are going to hit way harder than me. You better learn how to dodge into me now. And that's why I did it. So that would be my opinion on that. Crash, you played a lot more of the game. What would you say?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I think it's rolling and not panicking. I think those are like the two things. I still panic sometimes when I'm playing, and I just get shit on when you panic. Because like when you panic, you're immediately like, I'm gonna roll away and I'm gonna drink a potion.
Oh, rolling away is the worst thing ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you roll into them, you keep up the game plan, and instead of when you have the opening to attack, you drink the potion instead. You don't like try and run away and take the potion, whatever. I think those two are probably the intermediate level, which I think for Elden Ring could probably carry you through 90% of the game, if I'm being honest. Just those two things.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. If we want to go like that extra level up is like learning how each of the different weapons works.
I still don't know how that works.
Yeah, like obviously the parry system with shields, and like certain shields will.
You don't have to parry.
You don't have to, but you know it's always fun. But I agree.
Like, I don't think that's like. I don't think that's the intermediate level up is pairing. I think that's like because it's not It's not like if you were talking about Lies of P or Sekiro. I think like pairing 100%. I agree with you. Okay. But like in Elden Ring specifically, I barely ever parry in Elden Ring because you don't need to really.
So, backstab. Learning a backstab.
Backstab's huge.
Yeah. Learning that backstab is a thing, and that it will take off if, a good portion of the health.
I learned that through Sekiro, though. I didn't learn that through Elden Ring. I knew,
definitely brought it
for some reason, I
into
just
it,
knew. I was like, all right, let me try this. Oh shit, it works. All right, perfect. Let's go.
No. I think backstabbing, rolling into attacks, and there was one last one that I was going to say just then, but I've completely gone out of my head.
Summoning people.
Summoning is a good one, yeah.
Don't try to upset people.
That's not me upsetting. It's accepting like that there are other mechanics that you might not, want to use.
Yeah,
because you want to be a real gamer. I think that is part of it. Like that is an intermediate skill that some people just ignore.
I'm just saying, real gamers play every facet of the game.
Yeah.
So if you don't use summons, you're not a real gamer.
Facts.
That's a good point.
Facts. Well, boys. That has been this week's My Xbox and Me. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hopefully we get some more news coming up soon. Not much going on. So make sure you write in My Xbox and Me podcast@gmail.com or hit us up on the Discord because we appreciate that. Keep the show going. Let's plug and get ourselves out of here. Deespan, what you got to plug?
I'm going to plug the Discord. Go check out the Discord. Come hang out with the community. They're a lovely set of folks. Mostly. No, they're all great.
Yeah, not Eldozo, he sucks.
Yeah, he's the worst. But yeah, no, come and hang out in the Discord. Again, you'll get to see all our live streams when we're going live and all our YouTube videos. And you can be part of the shows as well.
Crash, what you got to plug?
My Xbox and Me podcast reviews. I don't know the last time we got a podcast review, and every time I go and check, I always get disappointed that I even went and checked. I'm going to be honest with you. Wait. New podcast review from June 14th.
Okay, here we go.
We're a little over a week late. I apologize. Okay. This is Nappy CGC. Thank you for the review. It's 5 stars.
Let's go.
He says, great show, title of the review. I've listened since COVID. I like the way the show is evolving. Keep up the good work. P.S. The fix might be a little bit disappointed at this far. I'm just going to... No grandma's hurt in this review. It's horrible.
Damn it.
I can't believe it.
Do you know what? It's not even, that review doesn't even count. Doesn't even count. It's a terrible review.
Is it even really a 5-star review at that point?
If your grandma didn't get kicked down the stairs, it doesn't even count. Let's be totally honest. Thank you so much for the review. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. It really does help more than you would imagine. Apple Podcasts is one of the weirdest platforms ever, where it will push you higher in the rankings, not only on how many listens you get weekly/monthly, but how many reviews you get. Don't ask me why. But that is the case. So thank you. Do appreciate the review. Shout out to the Americans beating us again. I hate it. I don't like when that happens. January. No, we've got nothing. January 21st is us. January.
We have to check worldwide reviews for like other places that we don't get the reviews for.
Yeah, we need to find some. What we need is, if you are not in America or not in the UK, do me a favor. Go onto your Apple podcast, and you've already done it. Go onto your Apple podcast and just write down, take pictures, take screenshots of all the reviews in your country so we can read them out. Mm-hmm. There you go. That's your big plug this week. Until next time, we'll love you, leave you. See you later. Goodbye.